Now to our focus on the program. The Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals has reviewed its ex-depot loading cost of petrol, bringing it down to 867 naira per litre. According to sources, the refinery informed its marketers and customers of the new price earlier today. Affiliated stations with special agreements with the refinery are expected to adjust their pump prices to around 910 naira, down from about 925 naira, in line with the slight reduction. This price cut follows a high-level meeting between representatives of the Dangote refinery and the Ministry of Finance on Tuesday. Following the meeting, the federal government reaffirmed that the Naira-For-Crude initiative remains in effect. The policy, which allows local refineries to purchase crude oil in Naira, was described as a key directive aimed at supporting sustainable local refining. The move is expected to ease pump prices and boost fuel availability in the local market. Meanwhile, the Federal Executive Council has ordered the full implementation of the Naira-For-Crude agreement involving the federal government, NNPC Limited, and Dangote Petroleum Refinery. Initially suspended after its first phase ended on the 31st of March, the halt in the deal had triggered a spike in pump prices and unrest among petroleum marketers. Now, the Ministry of Finance has clarified that the policy is not a temporary fix, but a long-term strategy aimed at reducing Nigeria's dependency on foreign exchange for petrol. With the FEX directive, the policy is now expected to go full steam ahead. My guest on the show today is National President of the Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, Petron, Bele Delis Harris. Good to have you join us on the program.
Thank you so very much.
Right, so after the initial, all right, and good to have you back on the show. After the initial delay, the suspended Naira-For-Crude deal is back. What is the position of your association on this development?
We are very excited about it, and it was something that we had advocated for, and we indeed, appreciate the federal government for the time taken to ensure that the process is very well understood, and the announcements that were made yesterday was very welcome, very excited in the bringing exciting news in the industry, and we look forward to better times. Hoping that this one action will be able to help in shoring up the value of our Naira and guarantee a better life for Nigerians.
Now, talk to us about how this would actually impact your operations going forward.
Well, for us, we have always looked at what will benefit Nigerians the most, what will give us the opportunity as an organization that is having a contract with the Nigerian people to ensure that there is efficiency in delivering petroleum products, to make sure that we have very high quality product in our retail outlets. We look forward to deepening the relationship with every segment of the industry. This will go a long way to help us, and we do believe that it will also encourage other sources of petroleum products that will be affordable and reachable to us to be in the play.
So with this directive, does that then mean that now, petroleum retail outlets and all of those would actually be getting this commodity from the refiners in local currency?
We have always got it in local currency. For me, it was just a fuse, that we needed to even explain, because there were products, that were sold in dollars even prior to that announcement. And so we kept wondering what exactly was the hula baloo about. The fact is that the government did not say that they are stopping the Naira for dollar. And this, policy is meant for every refinery in Nigeria. It is not just for only one refinery. So there were no reasons at all for that size of panic that enveloped the system. And of course, if you listen to Petron's consistent press reviews and our meetings out of the results of our very special emergency sessions, we always came up with the resolve that the industry will be stable, there'll be petroleum product availability to guarantee energy security, and obviously prices will keep going up and coming down until it gets to an average.
All right, we'll take a break now, and when we come back, we'll continue from where we stopped. Please stay with us on Beyond the Headlines. National President of Petron is my guest on the program today, and we're looking at the restoration of the previously suspended Naira-For-Crude agreement. Mr. Billy Harris, before we went on that break, you spoke about hula baloo, about a purported sale of crude, the product in foreign currency. Where could that panic have emanated from? Are there forces who are really trying to work against the success of this initiative?
Well, I really cannot tell, but we read it in the news as to some kind of stoppage of further sales in Nigerian Naira. And we actually had thought that there was really no basis for those, announcements, because when we got the message from Petron, we, with all respect and a sense of duty, met with the Honorable Minister of Petroleum, who explained to us that there was no stoppage and there was no suspension, but that the pilot project will come to a close on the 31st of March, and that there are processes going on to review it. And so Petron was very satisfied with the explanation of the Honorable Minister, Senator Dr. Henneken Lopobiri, that there are processes being engaged in now within that period that will eventually come out with a policy. And that policy came out yesterday. And that's what we kept saying, that there was no need for speculations, no need for announcements that will result panic. We should just have waited for the technical committee and the Ministry of Finance that's heading the Naira-For-Crude to come out with the policy of government. And yesterday, government came out with a policy to say this was a good project and that it should continue. And we indeed went out of our, jubilation to salute the president, salute the Honorable Minister of Petroleum, honor the Honorable Minister of Finance, and the chairman of the technical committee, and indeed, Engineer Komolafe, who is heading the NUPRC, and also Engineer Farouk, that's heading the NMDPRA. So we are very happy with the outcome of the decisions, and I think it will teach a lot of us some lessons to be patient, and wait for resolutions to come out in such critical matters instead of, just speculating and putting messages that will cause panic in the system.
So with this announcement, how much are members of your association selling petrol as we speak?
Well, it's in every situation, in every city, there is a different pricing. And the reason why there is different pricing is because there are costs associated with logistics that are not the same from city to city. So as far as I know, before I left Port Harcourt yesterday, fuel was selling at the highest, I think, at 960 Naira. And in some stations, it was still selling for as low as 930. And most of Petron members were selling within that bracket.
All right. So how soon do you expect this announcement, especially with the Dangote refinery reducing the ex-depot price? How soon do you expect it to come into effect, and what figures are you looking at?
Well, there are people who bought products a couple of weeks ago, couple of days ago, that did not buy at the 867 naira. So you naturally would not expect them to sell at a loss. So, and there is no refund for those differences in pricing. So they will have to sell off their stock before they buy. And it's very important for Nigerians to understand that that's the dynamics. If a product is already purchased at any price, it just has to be finished. And I know the question will come, what about if it was lower? Well, if it was lower, don't forget that when a retail outlet owner finishes his product, he's going to buy at the new price. So it's not difficult to project that he will sell at the price that is current and ensure that he's able to stock. Otherwise, then he will not also be able to stock. So that's the reality of the dynamics of this business. So we believe that those who are going to start paying for products, especially from Dangote's refinery, will start probably selling maybe when the products get into their retail outlets.
So it means we're quick to increase the price, but hesitant and slow to reduce the price. Is that so?
No, we are not, for good reasons. It's simple to understand that if I bought product at 850 and you increase the price, there's already a loss that I'm going to encounter. And then if I bought at a higher price and I'm selling and you lower it, I'll still have to, make up for the balance of the money. So we are not reluctant. We are not reluctant to reduce our prices. We are very certain that in the coming days, the public will get to know what happens in all our retail outlets, and you get to know what prices each retail outlet is selling, and there will be justifications for those prices. That in coming weeks, as we try to make sure that we introduce our 3P and our petroleum price, petron.com.
All right. So in its statement, the federal government had mentioned that the Crude and Refined Product Sales in Naira initiative is actually a key policy directive which is designed to support sustainable local refining. So how much of support are your members, given to our local refineries? Because there have been stories about your members still going ahead to import crude.
Not crude.
We import petrol, rather, refined products.
Some of us import refined product, yes.
Yes, please.
Now, the reason is simple. We are not able to operate in the market where any one single individual or one company will be able to make price decisions all by themselves. They raise it up, they bring it down at will. There is no consultation in the system to be able to know what exactly should happen. So what do? We must protect our businesses. We must protect our businesses, and our businesses cannot be within the control of just one company, or one woman, or one man. So the importations that we embarked on as support was to make sure that we also had alternative sources of product. So if the industry is going to be controlled properly, the way we have suggested that the NMDPRA and the Federal Consumer Protection Council should work together to ensure that the provisions of Article 205 of the PIA regarding pricing is effectively deployed. Then the industry will be different. And at that time, we can all come together. After all, we came together in November under the leadership of NNPC to decide that we are not going to import products again. And that we are going to support the local refineries. And which we will do. For instance, Petron is going to sign up a wholesale agreement with some of the local refineries. And if we are doing that, we should expect that when you want to make price changes, you should be able to consult the system-wide. Not just waking up just to reduce prices for whatever. Nobody is going to leave this business for anybody. We're going to make sure that we stay in the business, we protect our business, and we make sure that we get petroleum product to give to Nigerians affordably and in good quality too.
Now, when you're talking about consultation, what period of time are you looking at?
Well, we are looking at, for instance, if I was a refiner and I'm going to be selling products to thousands of retail outlets, I'm going to try to make sure that I reach out to them to say, look, because there must be some entrepreneurial factors, some reason why products cost will reduce or will increase. We can't just wake up and just do it because there is a freedom of decision to make a business. This is not the same as other, retailing business. This is very volatile. And so it's important, that if I was a refiner, that I should consult with those who are in the business. We have very credible organizations. We have Merman, we have Dapman, we have Ipman, we have Petron, we have Nugasa, we have Nupeng, we have PTD, we have NATO. These are the industry leaders that ensure that the everyday Nigerian is having access to energy. And then if I was a refiner, I just wake up and I just start changing prices without consulting with the system. That would be difficult to keep. Yes. So we do hope that whatever the situation is now, there should be a process where there is, a clearinghouse for some of all these things.
Okay, let me get your assessment on, of our local refining, our capacity, and if you consider that we've actually made progress, and what you think can be done to actually help the system.
Well, the local refining capacity has really increased, and I'm very proud of what we're doing. And like we said, in Petron, we're very proud of all of the refinery owners, especially Dangote Refinery, that has given us so much pride of place. And we can hold our heads anywhere in Africa, anywhere in the world. We have other refineries. One is coming up in Bayelsa, Azikiwe Refinery, that's going to be 25,000 metric tons. And that's a lot of effort that's been done by some very young, entrepreneurial-minded people in that part of the world. And as far as we are concerned, what will make sure that the industry is stable is that there is special production of crude oil that is for domestic consumption. And the pricing of that product should be determined, not just based on what OPEC says, but what the economic calculations and progress values of Nigeria would determine. And then, of course, products, that are being produced in Nigeria can also be exported. So, which is why we encourage investors to come into Nigeria, utilize all of the products all of the crude oil advantage we have, manufacture, refine a lot of products, and become the export hub of West Africa, or at least Africa. Because we have an NNPC also, which is the largest corporation in Africa, and we need to give them support. We have called on our colleagues to give the new management of NNPC great support. And I believe that with all those, metrics in play, we'll be able to succeed and make the industry more stable.
But how feasible, is this first call you have made about being able to make special production for local consumption?
This is our country, and we should rise up to do what is ours and put Nigeria first. So we actually call on the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to convene, because he's also the Minister of Petroleum. He should convene a very, critical, study group to ensure that we can work out of the box to produce crude oil for Nigeria. And that means that we have to improve our host community relationship, ensure that we have security in the country, and make sure that we are producing, crude oil and also gas enough to be able to do what we must do as a country and put Nigeria first always. So it's feasible. It's a decision, it's a policy that can be made.
And as Nigeria,
the PIA was written by us, and we adopted it. We agreed to it, and every Nigerian obeys it. So also, getting a special production quota for local refining should be done. And I suggest about 1 million barrels a day should be about good enough to ensure that that's very successful.
All right. In recent time, we've seen, vandalization of some of our, facility. And just yesterday, we saw, some community members shut down a particular facility as a result of, disaffection or dissatisfaction with some policy of government. How do we improve relations and ensure that we are actually able to meet these quotas that we've set for ourselves, and as you are even proposing, to set even greater a percentage?
Everything in life depends on a plan. And what we need to do as a country is to rejig our entire system. If we are dependent on crude oil and gas to fire our economy, then we need to specifically make provisions to work with the communities that bear these products, these natural resources, and work with them in a way that they own, they have ownership, they have an ownership sense of the entire business. And this will help in making sure that production quota is shut up. Well, there is no reason why we shouldn't be looking beyond producing 3.5 million barrels of crude oil per day. Yes, we can do it. So the most critical thing to do, like I said earlier, is that we should rejig the community relationship, rejig the economic needs of the oil-bearing communities, and work out a process where the community actually have a sense of ownership of what is being done to grow Nigeria. And they will see their benefit, they will see how it impacts the country, and also be proud that this is part of what makes Nigeria, to grow.
National President, Petroleum Product Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria, Petron, Billy Harris. Thank you very much for your time on the program.
Billy Gillis Harry. Thank you.
Billy Gillis Harris, thank you very much. Well, that's our offering today. We thank you very much for watching. A repeat broadcast airs at midnight and at 6 a.m. I am Abosadi Adenu Adremi.